Hello and welcome to News Today. Coming up, in a wake of arrest of child kidnapping syndicate in Accra, the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety, Nanaya Akwada, asked parents to start educating their children on safety issues, especially at public and social meeting places, to help keep them safe. Coming up in business, Minister of Energy and Petroleum Resources Emmanuel Amakufibua is asking small and medium enterprises to take a commanding lead in the country's oil and gas industry. And on the international front, United Nations struggling to deal with humanitarian situation in South Sudan. My name is Bright Nana Amfu. We have a business and showbiz also coming up right here on News Today. Thanks so much for staying there. Now, Christmas has come early for shea butter traders, largely due to the Harmattan. Etonam Shea has been exploring the case of shea butter, going to the rescue of parched lips and pale skins.
Everyone is freaking out. Okay, I exaggerate, but the dry weather we're experiencing in Ghana today has women and even men who would usually not bother to lotion scrambling for creams and balms just so they can avoid looking pale with sore lips, the kind of look that makes it too obvious that you have succumbed to the harsh weather, or as commonly referred in local parlance, Harmattan achoo. The trick is to stay moist all the time. Yes, the creams and lotions make an effort, but one stands tall amongst them all. It's the tried and tested shea butter. Apart from its healthy nutrients for the skin, it outlasts its peers and provides twice the moisture. We are here at the Kaneshi market here in Accra, where I'm standing by a variety of shea butter. You can see them in different colors. We have white, we have cream, we have the yellow ones, and we have what they call the cocoa butter, the pure cocoa butter. And I'm told that it's been mixed with some ingredients, you know, and it's good for babies, I'm told. And so I'll be speaking with one of the vendors here who will be telling me how booming business is here so far today. I have to say, hey, but to say, opening tea, in Kutonidi, and can normal day Bianca Uton Basin.
Almost 6 cities, 600,000 and a baby, but opening but your motor baby 1 point something.
Not then I'll force some comfort power pebble
Because of opening here. They will send away than it's here.
Into your mobile, they were in a white one and I say yellow one and I
white one because the white one there. White one name Shea, I know they're Shea name rare one.
Now a yellow one,
I know they're every tamale for the Mundi. And some of the color name frame war, but where white one year wow for the Omudi BBI, and some of the Umrana customer snippet.
Man, that's saying,
I'm Yadmo,
now say when you're baby son.
and Kuno, they say Neto Bremueni, a pebble in Tina, as you say, Yato. Now, said the Abanet is the one side, it's after open a in a cranning to the beer, yet on a crack.
Open a everything cartons and I feel they're opening to increase our cost.
Oh, now 10 times they want me to bet on better 300, 400. And so now they say there, Uba, I'm Yadum, don't buy 500, and I say, I'm 800 cry, Mitimina.
Now they not for some for a pebble no moton kutono.
Or pepper no moton kuto say or shown a bar. Or shown a bar, who also Udaria answer, not through soon. You must school for Quanya, Yen Tonkuno. You make Quanya Yen Tonku. I just a school for school. Like you say, I make Quensino. Then your pebble Nesia or pebble a school for Uncle School. Come on, talk.
It's your pebble and a bar now when you had. Go for water. But why would you go for the processed creams and lotions when the active ingredients in most of these moisturizers is readily available? The regular patrons know, and it shows in sales for these traders.
And this cream no sra ma ho but in kutoni de osra e ma body ne fine e ma opene so mfa
na opene ba na uton kutoni pa
oh at times yetimi to bet opembre no ene ye to ne mo se nkwala no nse a opene ba ma mo ye mfita na adi nti wo de sra na e ma ne kala ne ye fine ti se first na
meta 1 cedi
na he
me patron enkuno Harmattan intino we used to share batana ema home pipe ema honam ne kama when I went so no shabata so mu ahudo mi no white one no almost no na e papa according to woman that meto o church me mu say the ebi no mo de color fry ebi yellow one no de color fry but white one ne papa na sremu de ankasa and no srem skin no to say be ya open no nchill ta we tira me ba beto bi no
na wo beto nkuto ope aba na ntia
no so ka ho se esa na uti sra kwara na etime ma ne da enumre no
can buy ham body feel smooth fine e wo me nsumo cocoa cream can it be nsumo.
So go ahead, apply the shea butter generously to your heels, elbows, calves and legs, the parts of the body most affected during the Harmattan. Keeping a portion of shea butter close by, remember, keeps the patchiness away. While at it, I wish you a happy Harmattan.
And away from that, the Accra Regional Police Command has arrested 2 suspects in connection with the kidnapping of children in Accra. The 2 were picked up at Dakuman following the kidnappings, which started on December 1. And the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety, Nanaya Kwada, thinks parents must start educating their children on safety, especially at public and social meeting places.
What is right or wrong with how we handle our children. I think that is, first of all, is a cultural matter. You know, we live in a society where when you anticipate ill or evil, you are most often shut down by your elders. If you say, as we go here, this may happen, immediately you have to clean or wash your mouth. Our society or our culture frowns on that. And so that is a major setback to us, our families, as far as safety and security is concerned. We must be able to anticipate such ills around social places like churches, school, and so on, and educate our children on what steps to do, what steps to take, or what measures to take in order to get out of trouble. Whereas if you ask a typical 4-year-old American child, he or she is going to tell you he's been taught or she's been taught by family to avoid strangers. It's not very likely in the case of a 4-year-old Ghanaian he doesn't even know who a stranger is from who a stranger is not. And so beginning from our children, I think that every family, every home must begin to do some form of education. Sometimes it's even important to educate children on how to conduct themselves in the event that they end up in the arms of strangers. Yes. You know, my kids, as far as 2.5, I began telling them where we live. I began telling them their mother's name, their father's name, making sure that there are some basic things that they must know, so that even in the event that he or she is kidnapped, he can give good information for the kidnapper to track the family, or if he is able to break out of the hold of a kidnapper, he is able to give that information to a good Samaritan or the police in order to trace him or her back home. These are basic things that as families and parents we must instill or educate our children. Parents are indeed ignorant of the changing times in which we are. We live in a country where it's easy for anybody to walk up to another person, approach anybody and ask for information. We live in a country where in times past, everybody older than you is your mother or father. I live in a country, I was sharing this, that some time back when we were kids growing up, at Christmas time we used to carry bowls, and we walk around town, all over town, sometimes wandering far away from home, just begging for money. And we would go and come back safely. Today, same cannot be said of today. And that is where parents must appreciate that times have changed.
We're still staying on safety, but this time on the roads. At least 26,621 lives were lost through road accidents from January 2000 to September 2013, while about 70,000 people sustained degrees of injuries within the same period. According to statistics made available by the National Road Safety Commission, 20,503 lives were lost between January 2000 and December 2010 in road accidents that left 63,384 people injured. On a monthly basis, an average of 170 people died and 500 suffered some injuries in the period of 10 years. Also, in the last 2 years, about 4,579 lives were lost as a result of road accidents, leaving more than 6,000 people injured and causing some people permanent injuries. From January to September this year, 1,539 people had perished, while 9,741 others were injured in 10,558 reported road crashes nationwide. The figures mean an average of 171 deaths occurred and 1,082 were injured in 1,103 crashes involving 1,084 vehicles monthly in the last 9 months. The National Road Safety Commission says the issue of road accidents had become a matter of health because it killed people even more than diseases. This is News Today. APIS Ghana has launched a complimentary basic education in the Sola Tuna Kalba district of the Northern Region. It forms part of the nationwide pilot sponsored by the UK's Department for International Development to provide access to education to 120,000 out-of-school children in deprived communities and building government capacity to take on this role. The program would also be launched in East Gonja, Bole and Pandai districts.
From 2013 to 2015, APIS Ghana will head a pilot to get out of school children back into mainstream education under its complementary basic education program. In the first year, the project will target 100 communities in 4 districts to enroll 2,500 children, with 52% being girls, in a 9-month mother tongue literacy program. After the program, it is expected that at least 80% of these learners will be qualified to enroll into formal school in September 2014.
For Northern Region alone, we have 112,620 children out of school. Those children between the ages of 8 to 14 out of school. This is a very serious figure. And even when we want to look at the 3 northern regions, Northern Region itself carries the most populace of out-of-school children. Because putting the out-of-school children in Upper East and Upper West, they are about 42,000, whilst Northern Region alone has 112,620. This means that we have a big problem in the Northern Region, and we need to have pragmatic efforts in reversing the situation.
The CBE program covers children aged 8 to 14 who have never been to school or might have dropped out. Upon completion, the children are expected to roll in primary 4 or above, depending on their test scores.
I am particularly happy that this program is designed by EBS through PAPADEF to cater for unfortunate children with their counterparts in all spheres who pass through established schools.
District Chief Executive for Swala Tuna Kauba District, Alhaji Isaac Jamani Mumuni, said the program falls in line with government's agenda of bringing education to the doorstep of Ghanaians. It's hoped that after a successful pilot, government would upskill CBE and make it a key national education program. Rafik Salam's reports from Swala in the northern region.
In other news, Joynews investigations have revealed a worrying trend in which some senior high school girls are engaging in prostitution to take care of their needs. The students claim they are not getting the financial support they need from their families to get through school. The investigations reveal the girls break bounds from school at night to solicit sex in exchange for money. One of the girls, by name Equia, a Form 2 student in one of the senior high schools in Accra, said she comes to work every night to solicit for sex just so she can make enough money for her daily upkeep at school. Another girl by name Safwa, another SHS student in the Eastern region, has similar reasons for engaging in prostitution. For the brothel owners in the area, girls like Equia and Safwa are a major source of business. The girls are said to compete with each other, older prostitutes, for rooms at some brothels spread around Medina and St. John's, where a 7 Ghana cedi fee is charged for the use of a room. This is News Today. We're taking a break, and when we come back, we have more. Please stay with us. Thanks so much for staying there for News Today. The Minister of Energy and Petroleum Resources, Emmanuel Amakufibwa, is asking small and medium-scale enterprises to take a commanding lead in the country's oil and gas industry. He said it is in this vein that government has partnered the Enterprises Development Center, EDC, a non-governmental organization, to equip SMEs with the requisite training. The minister pointed out that as part of the local content policy, international oil companies cannot bring their expertise from abroad to take advantage of the industry. The Export Marketing and Quality Awareness Project of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is set to improve the market infrastructure and productivity of horticultural produce in the country. This is to boost the contribution of the sector to the non-traditional export sector, which has seen a decline in recent times.
The contribution of horticulture to the total value of non-traditional exports has fluctuated in the last decade. A study by Agric Impact indicates that horticulture grew from 9% in 2000 to its highest of 19% in 2002 and has since declined steadily to 4% in 2011, although it realized a growth of 376% over the same period. Even though domestic demand for major fruits and vegetables has increased by over 50% in the last 4 years, the Executive Director of Agric Impact Consult does not believe market opportunities have been fully exploited.
And agriculture is not just production, like the way you take cattle and go to the farm and then you go and weed. No, we have passed that stage. We have to introduce intensive production technologies where you can even produce tomato and produce onion without touching the soil. You produce lettuce, it has not touched any soil. It is so clean and everybody will want to buy. We need to create regional market opportunities. But once we are importing, we should be able to take advantage of our own market and also grow and supply.
Price fluctuations of horticultural produce, he says, also remains a challenge.
Now, mango prices can increase by 700% within a year. Onions increase 1,125% in a year. 1,500. We grow grow, we consume, and then over a short period of time, we depend on Niger to supply. And then at a point, Niger is out of the market, and then we go to Holland and bring more. But this is different from going to, say, South Africa, where the price can remain the same throughout the year.
But government says it is already mapping out some strategies to address the challenges.
We know as a country and as a ministry that we needed to provide proper places where fruits can be sorted, cleaned, packed, and transported to the distribution centers. And so for that reason, we have provided a modern pack house in Vakpo to start with. As part of the project's intervention, we are also developing drip irrigation systems which will minimize the use of water or conserve a lot of water, thereby improving the productivity of the crops.
The Export Marketing and Quality Awareness Project of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is meanwhile taking stakeholders in the sector through a series of workshops to explore new market opportunities for horticultural produce.
Private sector organizations have been charged to participate in the programs and activities of MMDAs in promoting effective revenue mobilization, management, as well as its utilization for development. This was contained in a speech read for the Municipal Chief Executive of Doma, Godwin Subonting, at the launch of Star Ghana Gift FM Media Project at Doma Hinkro in the Bono Hafo region.
According to Article 245 and 252 of the 1992 Constitution and Section 34 of the Local Government Act, 462 district assemblies are responsible for the overall development of their respective jurisdictions. It is clear that this responsibility of the local government system cannot be executed without adequate funds. Though district assemblies have extensive source of revenue generation, there are deep-seated problems with revenue collection system due to the use of outdated techniques and methods. Thus, Gift FM, a community radio station at Doma Ahinkro, and Global Media Foundation, a Sunyani-based human rights and anti-corruption media advocacy organizations, are collaborating to educate the tax-paying public in the Doma municipality to demand transparency and accountability from the assembly on revenue generation. The project, which is on the theme promoting revenue management and its utilization for development in the Doma municipality, is funded by Star Ghana at the cost of $50,000. For Joy News, Nestor Kafuya-Jomes report.
In the Upper West region, waste management company Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, in collaboration with GTZ and DECO, have launched a compost plant at Sanguli in the Sangnorugu district of the northern region to produce organic fertilizer using solid waste.
Compost project, to span 3 years, would produce organic fertilizer using solid waste for smallholder farmers. Northern Regional Manager of Zoom Lion, Emmanuel Volsuri, disclosed that the project will cost €450,000 and produce cheaper fertilizers for farmers in the 3 northern regions. Emmanuel Volsuri added that the project aims at increasing soil productivity, and it is also in line with the National Environmental Sanitation Policy and MDG Goal 7.
Zoom Lion Ghana Limited believes in this strong partnership. That is a partnership between Zoom Lion, ECO, and GIZ, that seeks to use efficient but simple technologies to solve societal problems that confront us today. Increasing recycling, creating new jobs, improving soil productivity, and increasing agricultural production, hence reduction of poverty.
District Chief Executive of Sanirigu, Al-Hassan Mohammed Sorogudu, said proper waste management will help reduce major environmental problems such as methane emission.
This project, I believe, when completed, will help improve the state of waste management in our district, Sanirigu, and so by converting waste into organic fertilizer for farming purposes.
Northern Regional Manager of DECO, Ibrahim Amadou, said the project, made up of 2 compost plants, is going to address problems with soil infertility and improve food security.
Thanks so much for staying there. Time now to look at the international front. And South Sudan's military says it is a matter of time before pro-government forces retake control of two separate or state capitals from the rebels. Army spokesman Philip Agge says soldiers backing former Vice President Dr. Riek Machar control Bor in Jonglei State and Bentiu in oil-rich Unity State. By that, the military is capable of dealing with a rebellion. He also accused fighters backing Dr. Machar of shooting at a U.S. aircraft that was evacuating citizens from Bor on Saturday. The U.S. military did not identify the shooters, but said 4 of its personnel were injured. Clashes began last week in Juba after President Salva Kiir, a member of the majority Dinka ethnic group, accused former Vice President Dr. Riek Machar of attempting a coup. Machar denies the accusation, saying Salva Kiir is targeting his rivals. Earlier, we spoke with a lawyer and human rights activist in Juba, South Sudan, Godfrey Victor Bula, on the situation in the ground in Juba. According to him, reports of ethnic conflict has taken on an ethnic dimension. It's not the case. He told Joynews from the capital, Juba, the United Nations was surprised by the level of crisis, with most NGOs trying to help civilians who have fled the conflict.
What is happening now is that Juba is relatively calm today, despite the mutiny that happened like Saturday, shooting everywhere within the presidential guard headquarters, in which a lot of casualties, many children and civilians, including the army, were wounded. This happened last Sunday. From Sunday and Tuesday, Juba has been terribly around shooting. But today, today, the situation in Juba town is a little bit calm. There are no gunshots like it used to be on the first day of the incident that started. Only that there are a lot of casualties still in Juba Teaching Hospital. Also, reports of the incident that is happening in Bentiu, whereby forces loyal to Riek Machar under the Division 4 have defected, and the commander has declared himself as the governor of that particular state. Not only the whole state, also part of the state remain loyal to the government. It's only within the town, the capital Bentiu, whereby they have declared themselves as part of loyalty to the vice president. But in such a situation, there is a still big problem, because you have people are dividing this into ethnic lines. What I need to say is what's happening now is not only Dinkas dying, not only Nuers are the ones dying. Many of the tribes or clans or the people of South Sudan are the ones dying in this conflict. In this conflict, nobody can say it's Dinka who is dying or it's Nuer who is dying. But the practice, the practice that's happening is that people, because the rumors or wrong information that are passing to people normally tell others, are you here? Nuer are killing Dinkas or Dinkas are killing Nuer. And such kind of rumors, it has ending up taking a different dimension than what exactly happened in the presidential guard, that no any civilian knew of what was happening up, but they found themselves, in the middle, either being shot, either being wounded, either being killed. This is what's happening. The humanitarian situation is critically terrible. As you know, UN did not prepare itself for such a scenario that is happening. And as they were caught up in this situation, they are not able to handle the humanitarian situation, this humanitarian crisis. And most of the NGOs that were to provide humanitarian assistance at this critical time, most of them are already being evacuated from the country, and their staff have been evacuated. So you see few NGOs that you can see. I can see on ground Red Cross moving, South Sudan Red Cross and MSF giving some medical assistance to the wounded. but a lot is really needed. A lot is needed, really, when it comes to humanitarian situation. There are civilians, like when we're speaking now in board, civilians are caught up between the ongoing fighting. Nobody's getting access to them. Shops are being closed in those other areas. And even those ones within the UN compound, they are not given food. The situation is terrible.
And for the first time in 8 years, there will be no performance from KSM at the National Theatre on Christmas Day. For the last 8 years, KSM shows have always been the event for Christmas, and his fans work their schedules around that.
For the last 8 years, KSM shows have always been the event for Christmas, and his fans work their schedules around that.
Because of the fact somebody like me, and they go and grab the fine little donut like this. There's a song that I like. What's that song called?
This year, his fans were looking forward to a sequel to his hit show, The Secrets of Ghana Girls. KSM was geared up to release Confessions of a Ghana Man, a hilarious and controversial show. When asked about his show, he said the show is not cancelled but postponed. He admits to biting a whole lot more than he can chew when his company accepted a contract from an international agency to develop and shoot a documentary. Because of the workload, he realized rather late that he couldn't commit the amount of time and attention needed for the performance. He, however, assures his fans the show will be rescheduled and it will be his most daring and captivating performance so far. Confessions of a Ghana Man has been rescheduled, and he promises the date will come out very soon.
In the wake of arrest of child kidnapping syndicate in Accra, the executive director of the Bureau for Public Safety is asking parents to start educating their children on safety issues, especially at public and social meeting places, to help keep them safe. And Business Minister of Energy and Petroleum Resources Emmanuel Amakofibua has asked small and medium-scale enterprises to take a commanding lead in the country's oil and gas industry. And on the international front, the United Nations is struggling to deal with the humanitarian situation in South Sudan. Thanks so much for staying there, and we have more news on the network. My name is Bright Nanamfo. Thanks so much for watching.